show. Hockey, sports, life for the adult athlete. Powered by the Beer League Players Association. Follow us at the BLPA.
Everybody, just follow.
Keep connected with us. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You dig that?
Follow
On every social media outlet. And make sure you follow the crew on Twitter. Nick at Nigger Jones. Jason at Beer League Jason. And Jillian at BLPA Jillian. Let's get it.
Welcome to the greatest sports show in the world. Good week, everybody. Hey, back here with you. Another weekly episode of the BLPA Big Show with my buddy Jason. Jason, what's going on?
What's happening? Hey, I got a question.
Yep, hit me.
How much money do we need to pay someone to fix this intro so that I don't lose my hearing as we go into a show?
I will do it for free.
Okay.
If we want it done eventually.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think I knew the answer was free if you do it. This is just my way of telling you, like,
To do it.
yeah, maybe you should do it.
Like we always say, like a couple days before, like, oh, when we record, we set the time. You think at that point, next time, remind me, hey, maybe you should fix that intro.
All right.
And then I would be like, okay, cool. Because then we get in here and I'm like,
It's too late now.
oh, yeah,
We're
like
here.
we got to do it. And I'm like, shit. Oh, the intro's still fucked up. Here we go. But the reason why a lot of this is done is because obviously you see it's just Jason and I. There's no Jillian who's kind of like that glue that kind of keeps things going.
We need a babe.
We need a babe. We do. And listen, I don't know what's up with Jillian. I don't know if she's had the baby. She's supposed to have it on Monday.
Okay.
She hasn't messaged me in the last couple of days. She could have taken all of our money and I should check our bank accounts.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't have access to them. She didn't have access to them, but who knows? Maybe she's hacked us. I don't know.
She took our
But-
clout and ran.
She took our cloud and ran, but she also could have had a baby and it just isn't messaging because she's busy. But I feel like, listen, I've had a baby before. I could send a text message to the guy that, does the podcast and
Right.
say, hey, I had my baby,
Yeah.
so
Something.
congratulations, Jillian, if you had your baby. Fuck you for not responding if you haven't had your baby.
Yeah.
I hope everything's okay.
Yeah.
So
All of that.
I guess I could always message Anna, backup
Ooh,
babe,
That's a good idea.
and say, I'm gonna say, Anna, I won't do it during the show, but I will message her and say, because I just want to know. I
More
want
to
to know how Jason Nicholas is doing. That's all. That's the
Yeah.
name of the baby, by the way.
Right. Of course.
But anyway, how are you doing, Jason? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Well, I don't know if you know this. You look a little richer today than the last time I seen you. We'll
Feel
talk
a little
about
richer.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. My microphone is blocking.
Oh, little OU.
OU Texas,
I got
OU
my
Texas.
my UT hoodie on.
like University of Tennessee.
Yes.
Fuck those guys, man. I mean, I love Josh Heupel, but fuck those guys. If we would have started Mike Hawkins, we would have beat them. Just saying. But OU Texas weekend, biggest rivalry in college, in college football. I'm sorry, the SEC is a big conference, but OU Texas is it when it comes to rivalries. I don't see Alabama or Georgia playing at the Texas State Fair, inside of a state fair with, thousands upon thousands of people outside with turkey legs and beer. No, I don't see that.
I think I've been there. Is
The
that where they
Texas
had
State
Isn't that where they had the outdoor game between Dallas and?
Yes,
okay.
at the Cotton Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, the Cotton Bowl. Yeah, and they got Big Tex waving like this.
Yeah.
He's Big Tex piece of shit, but whatever.
Been there.
OU Texas this weekend. Listen, I don't hold much hope. So you guys can chirp me all you want when Texas beats Oklahoma. It's not going to bother me. I got thick skin. OU's dominated this rivalry for the last, I don't know, for basically my adult life. And so it's not that big of a deal. We're having a down year, rebuilding again. And so we got a lot of things to talk about today. We got Italy to talk about. I'm leaving in a couple days.
Oh.
Money lining. Let's talk about what we're doing. We got a follow up from the refs last. We got to talk about how people are way too soft on the internet these days.
Facts.
And Jason's got some tips on how you should approach a referee in your beer league game.
Yeah.
Right.
From
But
the
first-
horse's mouth, if you will.
From the horse's mouth, not the donkey. Don't call him a jackass. Horse.
That's right.
Why don't you tell the folks where they could find us? But if you could do it in like a Jillian voice, that'd be good. So we, just high pitch. Use your soprano.
I don't think I can do that.
Do. How'd she do? Okay, just doing a
You want me
regular
to do horse racing? You
Yeah,
can
horse
find
racing.
other. I can't do that either. See, this is why we need a babe. We need a babe with talents.
Yeah, someone tag a
You
babe for us.
find someone somewhere. You can find us on all social medias at the BLPA. So if you are on a social media today and you're thinking, who should I follow? It's at the BLPA for
Mhm.
the answers for all of them. You can also find me at Beer League Jason on Twitter, Nick at Nicker Jones on Twitter, and the Nicker Jones on the Instagrams. You can also find us on Facebook, where Nick will be getting yelled at for being mean.
Yeah, I mean, being mean, yes. I don't understand it.
Being mean.
I'm Oh, I got beef jerky on my tongue there. Yeah, couldn't get it out of there. Hey, I I don't know if people know this, but sometimes I say things for reactions. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that wild? Is that wild of me to do? I mean, I like engagement. I like getting people involved. I like getting people talking.
Yeah.
But some people, I've just found that some people so soft these days.
Soft.
So,
SAWFT. Soft.
and before we get into our soft rant here, I'm not soft right now. Heyo. Uh, no, one of our listeners just said it. Everyone that's in Tampa, in the Florida, in the Orlando area, be safe.
Yeah.
All right. If you were able to get out, good for you. If you weren't able to get out, just hunker down.
And
Hunker
if
down.
you're in the North Carolina, East Tennessee area as well, hopefully you're safe from the last thing we had.
Yes. Hopefully everyone's good. That's what I just want everyone to be good. The more I listen, I like Twitter, X, whatever. But the shit that comes on about this, like the Republicans think that this is like a created weather storm.
Let's
The
not
Democrats,
pull all
the
Republicans
right,
and Democrats into one group, but there are
the
some
right,
crazy.
the crazy
Yeah,
ones,
sure.
and then the other side thinks this. I love it. I love reading it. And I'm like, do these are they sane? I don't know.
I like reading them where it's like, oh, the government is doing this, this, and this, and that they're trying to, and then like you just read a few comments down and somebody like explains what actually is happening. It's like, no, actually, here's the explanation that makes sense and isn't crazy.
And then the people that were just put in their place get mad and because they're soft, and that gets back to our soft conversation. So I don't know if you've seen this Amazon series about the finals with Connor McDavid and all that stuff.
I haven't watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
Just the clips of Connor McDavid being fury hot. Let's fucking go dig in right fucking now, or when he's crying.
But so can I comment on that for a second? It is nice to see Connor McDavid not as a robot.
100%. Okay,
like to actually have some emotion, because like since he's been in the league, he's always just kind of been like this. I'm a robot that just plays really good hockey.
Yes. But because he's always been that, now that they're making a show for the NHL, the NHL's propaganda, doesn't it seem a bit disingenuous that now he's like that in front of the cameras? That was my whole point of bringing up this stuff, right? Because how long's he been in the league? 10 years? 12, a lot of years?
Yeah, a lot of years.
And he's never been like this. But now all of a sudden,
we've never seen him in the locker room though.
But listen,
don't be one of those conspiracy theory guys.
You can look at people and say, this is that guy's game. And I'm not saying being a robot is a bad thing. Like, and I'm definitely not saying that he's not a good hockey player. Never once. Connor McDavid is the best player in the game. I go on record. Connor McDavid's best player in the game. Period. My post had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
My post was one making fun of the disingenuousness of how he's acting now and how it's being forced down our throat by the NHL, sub-center product, by the way, and my disdain for the Oilers. I mean, I'm a Flames fan.
Yeah.
If you can't be a fan and chirp the other team, then what's the point of being a fan? Like you're right. It's a rival team. It's not like I wasn't chirping like the Nashville Predators, who aren't a rivalry game. I was chirping the Edmonton Oilers, who are the number one rival of the Calgary Flames.
I mean, that's what social media is for. It's for chirping for sports rivalries.
And all I said, let me pull this up. I want to make sure so I can maybe get chirped on here too. Where's that thing at? Where's that picture I sent you? I just said, seeing McDavid cry after losing makes me realize ... This crybaby definitely didn't deserve to win the Stanley Cup. What a loser. Happy new substandard product season. So there's definitely tongue in cheek, especially with the ending. But people lost their ever loving fucking minds. Right? Talking like I was dissing McDavid. I never said he wasn't good. Never once said that. Don't believe it. I believe he's the best player in the game, but I do believe he's more robot than dig fucking in right fucking now. That's just not him. And so when you see it after seeing all, you're just like, yeah, that's fake. But that's just what I believe. I believe it's forced, contrived, and disingenuous. That's all I believe.
And that's okay. And again, you might have a little bit of bias. I think it's probably his true self that he shows when cameras aren't on, and it's hard to not show it when cameras are around you all the time. And that's probably what they think too. But here's my thing about people getting mad at you about chirping someone on the internet. One, Connor McDavid does not give two fucks what you have to say about him.
Yeah, and that's why I said, I was like, are you related to him? Do you know him? Are you friends?
Right.
Like, why are you defending him in this manner? He doesn't know.
And he doesn't need anyone to defend him because he's got $1 bazillion. He's going to make $1 bazillion more. He's the best hockey player in the world. Period. So, like,
he's a crybaby.
He's a crybaby. So it's okay for people to just not get so worked up over the fact that you made a funny chirp about him crying.
Yeah. I mean, it was, and listen, I get it. Like, people left, and obviously they were Edmonton support. Like, you could go on their stuff and see that they were Edmonton guys. So I get it. I mean, listen, loyalty runs deep. I understand that. But has everyone ever stopped to think that maybe Connor McDavid just isn't a winner?
It's possible. There's players like that.
Listen, there is not being the best at something and being able to win is not the same thing.
I think of like Phillip Rivers, who was one of the best quarterbacks in the era of Brady, Manning, the other Manning, Breeze. He was one of the best, but he's the only one that didn't win anything. He just wasn't a winner.
Yeah, it just wasn't like he just. And maybe that's what Connor McDavid. I mean, we go back to the OHL, the Erie Otters. Did they win? I don't think so. Like, maybe he's just not a winner. Maybe he's just the best player, but he's not a winner, and that's okay. That's okay, right? I mean, it's okay. But the amount of people that when I said, they're like, "Oh, I bet you cry after you lose a Dex medal game," and I'm like, "No, I just go play the next one." I'm not a crybaby. You don't see me crying over losing things, but
so crying in hockey
and beer league. But I get that he was on the biggest stage. He's worked his whole life. Like, you guys think that that's lost on me because I made one comment, and then the killer part of it is after they said that, then they try to personally attack me about different things, and I'm just like, okay, I'm sorry I rustled your jimmies this much that you would have to go in. So I'm going on record, and I'm going to say Connor McDavid's the greatest player in the game right now, probably ever. I mean, until
proven wrong, he's the greatest player ever.
I get it. Gretzky, Messier, Gordie Howe, all those guys, great players. I didn't get to watch those guys play hockey because I wasn't a hockey fan, so I wasn't into it, or maybe I'm too young. But the game as it is now, Connor McDavid is the greatest. He's just not a winner. Maybe he's just not a winner.
My argument would be as well that you can't compare different eras, and in general, sports get better over time, right? Like, if you look back at the original when hockey first originated, like, these dudes were drinking beers and smoking between periods, like,
and now they're doing cocaine. So I mean,
right. We've evolved.
Enhancing drugs, like I get it, and listen, I definitely see people in the comments, giving their takes, like, but Nick is supposed to be promoting hockey. I am promoting. Are people talking about it? Yes, that's promoting the game. All right.
And again, we promote a better product, not the subpar NHL product.
Yeah, we're promoting a way to the sport. Yes, but in terms of products, I love your comebacks when people come after you. It's not like I don't understand I didn't go after anyone personally. That's why I asked. Like, Are you related to Connor McDavid? Are you best friends with? Do you know him? Well, then why does it bother you so much
Right.
that me as a Flames fan chirps an Edmonton Oilers player that you have to come at me personally? You know?
Yeah. See, like for me, it doesn't. I'm Preds are the only team that I really root for.
Yeah, and they suck too. So it's kind of
Everything
you know?
else, like I don't care about because I'm a gambler. Like I like to
Yeah.
gamble, so I don't put allegiance with anything else. When people make fun of the Preds organization, Preds players, doesn't bother me at all. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, whatever.
I mean, I'm probably more so than the Calgary Flames, probably Oklahoma Sooners. I'm probably more loyal to just because that's where I'm from. And like when I was growing up, like your college team is like your identity, right? Like in terms of like sports fandom, right?
Yeah.
I'm from Oklahoma. This program represents me, my state, everything I stand for, and we're the best program in Oklahoma and Texas. So for me, I get it, but I used to let those like games, like when Oklahoma would lose, which was very sparingly as I was growing up, ruin my day. And now I'm just to the point where like, okay, the University, Oklahoma, it's a business. A lot of the kids aren't from Oklahoma. They really don't care that much about Oklahoma, the state wise. And the same goes for NHL. Like once players started leaving because for money, then I realized like, what's the point of being loyal to this team when like Johnny Gaudreau, rest in peace, leaves to go across the country for whatever reason. Matthew Tkachuk wants out, and then you know what I'm saying. So for me, it's now it's just I like the sport of hockey. I hate the package that the NHL produces and gives to me. Speaking of another one, how do they let fucking Utah go into a season calling themselves the Utah Hockey Club? Get your shit together. Get a fucking team name, get an identity, and quit fucking around. And I know people are like, oh, it's not that they got 6 teams. Oh, they got 6 teams. Just fucking pick one and go. Like, I don't get it. That's the part that bothers me. Like, you have a professional sports organization. I get it. Washington did it with the Washington football team or whatever. Fuck it. Pick your team, go into the team and have an identity. Because now you don't really have an identity. We're just a hockey club.
Yeah, they had enough time to figure that out. That was
Oh,
funny
enough
because I turned it on last night and Kate goes, "Who's in Utah?" Again, Kate's not a big sports fan, but she follows hockey vaguely because I do. And I'm like, "Oh, it's the Coyotes. They moved to Utah." She's like, "Oh, are they still the Coyotes?" And I'm like, "No, they're the Utah Hockey Club." And she's like, "Utah Hockey Club? What the fuck is that?"
There has to be an identity. You have to have something
That's a
to
soccer team name, and soccer is not on par with
Yeah.
hockey.
So basically, now we have to have a BLPA team. We can't just be BLPA Hockey Club anymore. Our followers can't just be BLPA.
We need a.
You know what we should call our followers? You know what we should call them? The B team. Because BLPA, the B team, and like we're not the A team. We're not that good.
Clearly.
We're just the B team. So all of our followers, henceforth, the B team.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Welcome to the show, the B team.
Hey, Blue Shoe Magoo, my favorite name on YouTube. The Utahnians would have been a sweet name. I need time to create a brand identity, though. The move from AZ was quick. Listen, yes,
Not
it was.
really, though.
They knew.
Yeah.
And they've had how many months now?
They had plenty of time, in my opinion.
Plenty of time. But I think it's going to be the Yeti. And they are on pace. They are on pace. They are on pace to go 82-0. So.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen enough from yesterday to know that the Blackhawks are going to finish last, and the Florida Panthers are probably going to win the cup again.
Well. You haven't seen my Calgary Flames, now have you? They're not winning the cup. They're going to be last place. The last place. Let's be honest about it. They're going to be in last place. They have this much superstar power. So who's going to score the goals? All right. It's like when the B team of BLPA takes the ice in Italy here. I don't know who's going to score the goal. I'm looking at our roster, and no offense to my roster. We just got a bunch of guys out that want to drink beer, play hockey, and explore the world. I don't know who's going to score the goals against the Italians. Don't know.
Maybe next year it'll be me. We'll see.
Maybe next year. So maybe what I should do is listen, we don't really need goalies all that much. I'm only saying that because I see Frank in the comments. We don't really need goalies all that much. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just offer a discount to a goal scorer to come on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
To come on the squad. let's before we go to the next topic, which is Italy, by the way, and BLPA Worldwide. Let you and me give our predictions for the season. I think you already did, but we're just going to go on record here so people will know where we stand in terms of our seasons and what we think. Who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup?
I believe the Edmonton Oilers will win the Stanley Cup this year.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you, dude. You piece of trash. I wish Jillian was here.
Listen, they picked up Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson, who are both players that can score, specifically if they play with someone good. They're putting them with Leon Draisaitl, who I think is the second best player in the world. And then you got Connor McDavid running his line like normal. I think they're gonna go back, and this time they'll top it over the edge.
You know, for dramatics, if we were pure entertainers, which I am, we would have let me go first.
Okay.
So everyone could get my pick on record. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a drum roll. I think the Edmonton Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup. And here's why I'm picking them. One, because they're good. And all that shit Jason said. But two, if they win, I can say, see, I told you so. And if they lose, I can be like, fuck them Oilers, man. I told you, pieces of shit. You know, that's basically, but no, I do think Edmonton is going to win the Stanley Cup. I think it's time for the Carolina Hurricanes to push through. I think this is probably their year to push through. Listen, they're one of those teams. They're there. They're on the precipice, whatever that word is. They're on the edge of glory.
They're one of those teams that just can't win, though. We talked about there's some people that are winners and some people aren't. Carolina Hurricanes just aren't winners.
But we just said that and said Connor McDavid maybe just didn't win, and then we both
I said maybe. I didn't believe that. I just said
you
maybe.
Disagree with it. I mean, he's not won anything. You know, come on.
I know Jillian's job is to disagree with you. I'm supposed to just agree with you. Sorry. Yeah.
Listen. Hey, I'll hire someone else for $0 a week to do this.
Fair.
So, man, we need a babe. I don't think there. Okay, let me go on the record and say I'm a busy guy. I don't get the time to delve into the game as much as I did before I was the supreme leader of Beer League. I don't have that time. I'm always busy, so I don't get to watch the game, but it just seems like Carolina is always on. They're going to have to push through sometime. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they're stuck in, perpetual. Purgatory. Maybe they're stuck in hockey purgatory.
Yeah.
So
that's the Preds have been stuck in mediocre purgatory since I've followed them. So
yeah,
I get it.
The Preds. There's been times where I thought the Preds were going to break through too. So maybe I'm just full of shit.
I can look at a team and go, oh, that's got Preds written all over it, and Carolina has Preds written all over it.
Okay. Well, listen, I don't know enough about the Devil. Obviously, I know that they're a good young squad. They got a bunch of good young players going there. As a matter of fact, when the late Johnny Gaudreau left Calgary, I thought he was going to the Devils, and I was going to really root for the Devils when that happened. But he obviously went to Columbus. So, coming out, obviously you cannot count out. Florida looked fucking good last night.
Florida
good
looked
as shit.
Dominant.
Nick, are you saying you watched that substandard product? Yeah, I did last night. And they looked dominant. They did. So, but can they keep it up for all 82 games? Injuries play a big part here. So, but anyway, those. So I'm going to go with Edmonton and Carolina in the finals. You're going to go with Edmonton and
the Rangers.
Ooh, that's a good one too. Even though Igor just turned down $88 million allegedly to be a goalie. So,
but he's going to still play.
Shesterkin. Yeah, he's still going to play.
That's a extension.
Shesterkin.
So I think because he turned it down, he's going to play better because he's playing for his next contract.
Oh, what if he plays worse and then they come back and they're like, "Nah, we'll give you $40. We'll give you $40 million." Yeah. Ooh, that would suck. But hey, sometimes you got to bet on himself. All right, Matt Miller just says empty net goal by Utah ruined his parlay. Speaking of parlays, should have asked us our opinion on the parlay because we know something about parlays. Jason, tell them what we fucking did when we fucking moneylined the shit out of the NFL this weekend.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you how we moneylined the shit out of the NFL, and then tell you how badly we did in the NHL last night. I think on the last podcast, me and you were talking, and I posed the question to you, like, hey, how far do you want to go with this thing? We were at $800 or something like that at the time, 700 maybe, $700. Because I'm like, I'll gamble it till we're billionaires or till we lose it all. Like, there's no stopping me. And so we talked about maybe doing like a big bet. And I said, hey, I got this $500 bet that I looked at that paid out. I think the one I was looking at paid out like $5,000 or something like that. I was like, maybe we should do something like that. And you said that you were just on board for the ride.
Yep.
So I had sent you over a couple of different parlays throughout the week, right? I'm looking every day. I'm checking lines. It was all going to be prop bets. So I was looking at wide receivers and running backs, but really mostly wide receivers. I sent you over a couple. I kept changing it. I'm like, no, let's go with this guy. No, let's go with that guy. Finally, I was like, all right, if I don't just pick, we're never going to do this thing. So I picked 6 wide receivers, alternate yards for all of them. And what alternate yards means for those of you that aren't big gamblers. So a line is set for yards for a wide receiver every week, right? So it's an over-under. The book picks a number based on their performance, who they're playing, that sort of thing. And they say, do you think they're going to get over or under? But you can buy down or up on those yards and say, I think it's going to be a little less, or I think it's going to be a little bit more. And the odds shift with it. So if you say less, you get paid less if you win. If you shift it to more, you get paid more when you win. So I went with 6 alternate yards, all a little bit lower than what their line was on wide receivers, and we put 5 bills on it.
5 big bills, and we only had 8, so we were risking our pot right here.
Yeah.
Well, we started with 100 each, so we were still up.
Yeah, I think we had 700 at the time, so 500 was going to put us back to our original investment. Like we haven't lost anything, but we're back down to starting from the beginning.
Okay,
but we didn't have to start from the beginning because we smacked that motherfucker for 35 hundo, and yeah, we were money lining.
But I also want to say, I knew it was in the bag the whole time. I just knew it. I could look at it. But Jason basically sends me a message, like the first message I get on
our first game was at 8:30. It was the 8:30 morning game. We had two players in it.
He said, good news is we won't have to sweat the bet all day. Bad news is that's because it's dead game 1. And I was like, injury? And you were just like, nah, Addison just can't catch a ball and Vikings are about to go up too much. And I said, well, Addison is a Lincoln Riley product. So,
and we only had him for 25
yards. Yeah.
25 yards.
Yeah.
And he hadn't had a catch at halftime.
So basically, the bet was Jordan Addison, 25 yards, Garrett Wilson, 40 yards, Stephon Diggs, 40, Keon Coleman, 25, DJ Moore, 40, and Jaden Reed at 50 yards. The one I sweated the most was Keon Coleman because when fuck the Bills. Sorry, Bills fan. I used to be on the Bills bandwagon, but they've just hurt me too much. I know they've hurt you your whole life, but you live in Buffalo, but you do have a choice to pick another team. I'm just letting you guys know. But I literally turned on the game, and the very first thing that I saw is Josh Allen pass the ball to Keon Coleman and hit him in the fucking side of the helmet because Keon Coleman wasn't even looking. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
That tells me all I need to know about this bet. But then
so he didn't even get a target in the first half. He didn't have a single target. And then he got like 3 targets in the second half that, like you said,
one of them hit him in the side of the helmet.
One of them hit him in the side of the helmet.
But then he caught a pass and went for a 50-yard touchdown, like at the end. And Jason's on the ice, and I'm like, we fucking did it. Woo! And
he had one catch for 49 yards. One catch.
And he needed to have 25. And then the other guys were smooth sailing. So we basically bet $500 to win $3,500. And we fucking cleaned up, boys.
We did.
We cleaned up. So we're in the money. We both agreed to do the smart thing. I've got a kid, I got to pay for private school. So I got like 1/100th of his private school, cashed out $1,000 each, but we're still, so what does that leave us with? We're still have what, $1,700, or we had 1700, 1800.
So we had lost 200 on Michael Pittman that day.
Fuck.
Because he had like one catch for a touchdown for 1 yard. So we were at 1500 at the end of the day on Sunday. Then we lost some on Monday because Chris Olave couldn't catch a fucking football. And then we lost some last night on the NHL because we did some goal scorers and some shots on goal. The crazy thing is the shots on goal, it was a $50 bet for like 8 people to hit their shots on goal. 7 of the 8 hit. The one that didn't was Teravainen in Chicago. He needed 2 shots. He had a goal, but he only had 1 shot. He 1 shot, 1 goal.
He should shoot more.
Yeah,
he should shoot more.
Like if with that shooting percentage, you'd think he'd be firing them like crazy.
Oh,
So we're down to 1200 now. Is the moral of the story? Not down to 1200. We each got our 1,000. So we're at the end of the day, we're up $900 each, no matter what happens from here on out. But we got 1,200 still in the bank to play with.
Yeah. And listen, the other games don't count because I wasn't privy to the bets because I just kind of let Jason do his thing. So he didn't tell me. That's probably why we lost because he was like, well, I'm not going to tell him.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do today. This is my last NHL bet if we don't win.
Okay, everyone listen up. I see Matt Miller. He lost $15. Blue Shoe Magoo. Let's get John. Everyone bet this line. All right, because we're going to win this.
All right, so we're actually going with a step-up bet.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this, but Austin Matthews is the only player in NHL history to score a hat trick on 3 different opening nights.
Oh, boy.
So we are taking Austin Matthews to score a goal.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say a hat trick. I was like, oh,
no,
boy.
we are. We're getting there.
Oh, boy.
So we're going to put $75 on him to score a goal.
Okay.
It's -140. So if he scores, we win our 75 back plus an additional $55.
Okay.
Then we're taking $25 for him to score 2 goals. If that wins, we get another 125. And then we're taking $25 again, and we're putting it on a hat trick that pays out $525.
That seems like low odd. I'm not an odds maker.
It is low.
It just seems low to me because scoring goals is not as easy as catching touchdown passes or getting 25 yards or whatever, right?
You're 100% correct. But that's what the reason they're so low is because they're very likely to pay out. So here's the deal. If we hit the first one, if he scores a goal, we made $5, regardless of what else happens in the rest of the day. And we're free rolling the second goal and the third goal.
Okay.
And if they hit, then we'll profit. So
everyone jump on, boys. Let's go.
At least 1 goal. Let's at least, or
let's
maybe throw $5 on the hat trick if you got $5.
Maybe throw 5 on the hattie, boys.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about real hockey. None of this substandard product. Let's talk about beer league hockey.
Well, can we go back to money lining for 1 second?
Yes.
You're not gonna like my college football pick on Saturday, just so you know.
But I think I am. Let me move my thing.
It's going to be win or lose for you. I mean, it's going to be win-win for you because you're either going to win your bet or your team gets blown out, or your team doesn't get blown out and you don't win your bet. The
line on Texas is 14.5.
Yeah, we're going to make it 13.5. We're going to buy down 1 point.
I would be ecstatic. Listen, I'm not a loser. This is not a loser mentality. I'm just a realist sometimes. Oh, you can't score points.
Yeah, and Texas defense is pretty good. Well, it's okay.
They haven't played anybody really, but
they played Michigan.
Michigan can't do.
Michigan also can't score.
Yes,
I get it, but they have a dominant defense.
Listen, Michigan can only run the ball.
Yeah, but they play defense really well, and they still got blown out by Texas.
They just got killed by Washington. So I think that
I just think by like a touchdown.
How many points they give up?
Washington has a pretty good offense.
I think Michigan isn't who we thought they were at the beginning.
Actually, they are who we thought we were because we made some money betting against them.
Fuck Michigan then. All right. But anyway, yeah, if OU only loses by 14 points, I will actually be ecstatic, to be honest. I mean, keeping it close.
They lost by 10 to Washington.
How many points did they give up, though?
27.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to real hockey. What part do we want to cover first? I'm going to let you kind of lead this. You're going to be
you going to talk about Italy?
Yeah, I'm leaving in like 3 days. Yeah. I'm ready, bro.
We are. So let's why don't we talk about how to approach a ref?
Okay, let's talk about. I want to tell you how not to approach a ref first.
So I had 8 games on Sunday. I reffed 8 games. We had some people call out and they needed coverage, so I jumped in, saved the day. So while we were money lining, I was also ref money making.
Money making.
I had one game. So most of the games were pretty easy. They were our rookie division, our D League division, which is the second one up. Rookie's the lowest. And then I had one game that is upper B, which is the highest division that we have in Nashville. Little bit of a tough transition to do 3 rookie games and then do an upper B because the speed changed just a little bit between those two. But there's a player in the upper B game that I've refed before, and it dawned on me that he knows how to approach a ref to get the calls to go his way. And I thought I should just share that with the rest of the group.
Okay, so let's hear him.
First off, I've refed him before. He's never once complained. He's asked, hey, like, what did you see there? Or can you tell me what happened here? And then I was always like, okay, appreciate it. And then skates away. Like, approaches a ref in a way of, I'm curious. I'm wanting to know what you saw. I'm wanting to know why it was that way, but I'm not criticizing in any way. So early in the game, he, away from the play, got tangled up with another guy, and they both went down. And I didn't see it because I was watching the puck where the play was, because that's where my assignment was for where we were on that side of the ice. But I saw it out of the kind of like the peripherals. I just didn't see exactly what unfolded. I thought he kind of got taken out, but there was no way for me to call it because, again, I didn't see exactly what happened. It could have just been 2 guys came together. So about midway through the second, he skated up to me and he was just like, man, I'm getting beat up tonight. And again, not in a complaining way, just more like, this is what's happening. And I asked him, I said, hey, what happened on that one early in the first where you went down? And he said, yeah, I think the guy just kind of took me out because I was away from the play. It was probably hard for you to see. So again, acknowledge that I probably missed a call, but wasn't complaining, and even said, like, I understand why it was missed because this is where I was at. So I took a mental note of that, and probably like 2 plays later, he's coming in with the puck. A guy kind of stuck his knee out a little bit, and he tripped over it. It maybe was a soft call because I don't think the guy like threw his knee out to like knee on knee him. It was kind of more like a just subtle, I'm in your way. And he got the call. I gave him the tripping call, sent the guy to the box. The guy that got the call against was yelling and screaming about how it wasn't a penalty the whole way to the box. And just that terrible call, this and that. So later, that guy who went to the box got tripped up, and it looked like a 50-50, like, I don't think he tripped him. I think it was a tangle up. And guess what?
You didn't give him the call.
He didn't get the call. So my point to you guys is, if you want calls to go your way, there's a way to approach a ref and tell them, hey, look out for this, without criticizing, without complaining, without, saying, oh, you're a horrible ref, that sort of thing. Like, because this guy comes to me with respect and comes to me with, just a non-complaining attitude, he gets the calls. And like, not only that, but I remember this guy. So obviously in the next game, like, he probably isn't even going to have to. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt anytime there's something like that going on.
You're saying refs remember things people do from other games and then carry 100%. That over to different games? Okay.
100%. If you're a guy or girl who commits a lot of penalties, when you're out there, I watch you. I may not even watch my assignment just to watch you do something so I can get you on a penalty. Because if I know you're a person who escalates a game, I'm trying to get you in the box early, not call a penalty, or call a penalty that's not a penalty, but I'm trying to catch you doing something you shouldn't be and send you to the box to calm you down and calm the other team down and control the game.
Yeah, and so that, hey, this shit ain't gonna fly today.
Exactly.
I get it. Okay.
Exactly.
Listen, anytime you can approach anybody with respect and love and inquisitiveness, it's going to go better for you. Listen, and I've had my fair share of, run-ins with referees, and being a dick just doesn't ever work.
Doesn't get you anywhere.
I've only ever gotten one call reversed, and that was in Nashville. And I got tangled up with someone over there, and I look up and the ref's hands, and I just said, "For fucking what?" And he goes, "Whoop," put that hand down and moved on. I was like, Oh, okay. That's the only call I've ever had reversed. And I wasn't even really a dick. I was just tangled up with someone, and I was like, "What's the fucking penalty for?" And then he put his hand down and skated away. But I think that's some good advice.
Yeah,
That's what we do here on the BLPA Big Show.
I'm just giving you some friendly advice from the not donkey's mouth.
I also want you to know that we had someone texted me and said, whoop, 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 whoop. He said, if the B team logo isn't the silhouette of a chubby stripper in a pole, you don't deserve us.
That had to be Frank.
He texted me for a reason. I don't want to blow a spot up. So, just saying.
Okay.
But he did say no chick this week, deuces, in the comments.
He left. He was like, fuck
he's
this.
gone. But
I do like the idea of a chubby stripper as the B team logo. I think it's perfect. In fact, I might make that a beer league team here in Nashville.
But it'll be like a sponsored by BLPA.
Sure.
Okay, I like it. All right, what's next?
I don't know. You want to talk about the other thing that I witnessed on Sunday, which was the rookie team that just won the championship and how they added more ringers?
Well, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. That's why I believe in my heart of hearts, in my soul of souls, with every fiber of my being, that if you win a championship in your division, you should be moved up.
I agree.
Unless you're at the top, and I get people like, well, there's only so many fucking divisions. Well, if there's no division to move up to, then why would you? That's the stupidest.
Yeah, I mean that's obvious. So in Nashville, we have the ringer rule like we do in Texas. You can only score 3 goals a game, except in Upper B. If you're in Upper B, you can score 100 goals. We don't care. Yeah,
exactly.
Because you can't be a ringer in the top round.
Yeah. So basically, you had a team that won the division in the beginner league.
Yes. So the reason I bring it up, so the rink I work at did something a little bit different this year. They did like a full-on summer clinic that was a learn to skate program for adults. So like every week, I think they had like 2 sessions a week. They worked on different stuff, and then at the end of it, it went all summer. At the end of it, they did like a scrimmage, which I reffed. So that they could get some like actual game experience with a referee and the whole deal. And from that, they formed a team. So they formed one team from this group of people that did the learn to skate, and they went into the rookie league, which is the lowest league that you can be in. And no offense to these guys, so they're just learning, but most of them can't skate still, right? They've gone through one little clinic. They just learned how to get on the ice. And they got absolutely demolished by the team that won the championship for Rookie League last year and added even more guys that don't belong in Rookie League. And for me, like, I felt bad for these guys. Their first game they've ever played, that's a real game. And, like, they had to go home thinking, like, oh, we don't have a shot to ever win a game because we're in this lowest division that has guys that – I mean, there was a guy who came in with the puck and did a 360 around the defender, held possession of the puck, and scored. And I'm like, what are you doing in Rookie League?
Like we can't even do that.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, like I would never play in Rookie League, and this dude's better than me. Like, what are you doing? So like something, like you said, something has to be done. We have to stop letting these guys win the lowest division and stay there.
So 2 things when we're good. So I have a little experience in this. In Calgary, when I first moved to Calgary, I started working for one of the largest leagues in Western Canada. At the time, we had 2 cities and 300 teams or something like that. And then I think I added a couple other cities, and we got up to 300 teams over those 4 cities. But one of the main drivers was a beginner hockey program, and it graduated. In Calgary, I think they ran 4 or 6 of them every season, fall or winter season and summer season. And it graduated 1,000 new players a year in Alberta into beer league hockey. And so it was always creating teams. And what I always tell people is like, hey, when you come out of this program, you're going to get your ass whooped. Like you're going to go into the lowest division, which was division 14 at the time. You're going to go into the lowest division and they're going to destroy you. But here's what I want you to know. The teams that are destroying you in that division now, they just came out of the program that you did a year ago, and look where they're at. So This is your measuring stick. Next year, you're going to beat people that just came out of the program the same way. So don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Keep skating and know that every time you play, especially at your level, at where you're barely skating, you don't really know the game, you don't know how to get around on the ice. Every game you play, you're going to get better. I don't care if you don't think you are because you're putting yourself in a position to play more hockey. And when you're a beginner, every time you skate, you're getting better, right? And so, maybe that's something to kind of relay to these guys when you see them again, if they get killed again, and they're looking, be like, hey, these guys came out of the program earlier than you, so they've had this much more experience than you have. When you get to have that much experience, you're going to beat the people that have your experience the way they're beating you, right? So that's one thing. Two, the team that came out a year ago and is destroying people and getting ringers, fuck you. If you want those players on your team, then move up. Challenge yourself. For me, even I get it. It's fun to win. I have a lot of fun winning games, but it's at a point where when you're beating teams that you stop skating after the first period. What's the point?
Exactly.
What's the point of doing that? And I think a lot of people don't understand this. From me as a tournament director, I hate it in tournaments. Like people say, "Oh, tournament directors don't care." They just do. That's untrue. I care. I hate it. I can't. When I go out and I see a game and it's the second period and a team's up 6-7 goals, I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at that other team because it's not a fun experience. I want to put tournaments on that I would want to play in. I wouldn't want to play in that. Either way, being the team, right? So we do need to normalize playing up to your players, not down to your players.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I try to tell people, like, there's a team right now, by the way, Bethlehem, Puck 10 Bash first charity tournament. We're one team away from selling this thing out. It's in February. So woohoo. But I'm talking, a team is registered and they're like, oh, well, you have us here, but we got killed in the tournament being in that division here. You got beat by one team. You got beat 4-0. You beat another team 4-3 and you beat another team 7-0. So how are you saying you don't belong in this division? Well, we got these guys. I'm like, okay, but you also have these guys. And by the way, this isn't a shot at this team because I love this team. I mean, they have Matthew Broderick. They're not going to play in the beginner division with Matthew Broderick on the team. I'm sorry.
Can't do it.
That's you. I don't care if all your team is beginners. We need to normalize playing up. And you don't necessarily have to play in the division Matthew Broderick would be the best at, but you're not going to play against beginners with a guy that can control the game. I don't care that Matthew Broderick gets drunk and forgets what he's doing half of the Saturdays that he plays. That doesn't bother me. The thing is he has the ability to do this if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I
agree. Because there's a lot of people that will play in the rookie league with their spouse because their spouse isn't very good. But I'm like, okay, but find a middle ground. Instead of you playing down in rookie where you don't belong at all, why don't, if you're a C player and she's a rookie player, why don't you both play on a D team? And then it kind of evens out. And again, you're a C player that playing in D is not as glaringly obvious that you don't belong as a C player playing in rookie, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a huge jump.
And I get, the beginner won't be able to do anything. Okay.
Right. But they'll get better.
They will get better. I'm a proponent. They'll get better faster, but a lot of people don't understand is they put the onus on the league. Like they're saying, oh, the league problem. At some point as players, it's a player problem too, because maybe the league allows it as a tournament. What do I do 2 games in of a 3-game guarantee to this team? Sure, I can kick them out, but they're like, you guys have to understand, like if I start kicking out every team that brought players, there would be no teams to play.
Right.
There just wouldn't. And so you police it as best you can, but you have to realize that
self-police.
Yeah.
Like some of it needs to be self-police. If everybody did it, then we'd be okay.
And that's the problem if everyone does it, because what I found in the lower levels is teams become an arms race.
Yeah.
So one team will come in, they'll have a ringer and they'll win. And so next year, the team that they beat in the championship, they'll say, well, they had this ringer, so now I got 2 ringers.
Yep.
And then a team down will be like, well, look at these ringers. We're going to bring in, and then at some point, it's not even a beginner league anymore.
Right.
And then you just, and I tell this story every time. When I first went in to play my first ever hockey game, when I went into acquire about, hey, I'm in Oklahoma City, I want to start playing hockey, I'm going to go check out the lowest division that we have and see what it's all about. And I went there and it was guys that weren't beginners fighting. And it almost turned me out. Like I was like, I can't do anything here. And then I remember this day, I walked in, the guy's fighting. His name was Patrick Moore. He became one of my good friends after I got in the hockey scene, but he wasn't a beginner. I don't know why he was down in Division 4, but it almost scared me out of trying to get into the game, because I saw this and was like, there's no need there, and so people need to understand that at some point we as beer leaguers have to take responsibility for our actions and not just blame it on the league and the thing, but also knowing that there are some beer leaguers that don't care about the responsibility of their actions. They just want to win and say they're the best and beat their chest and cry like Connor McDavid.
So I'll address a couple of things. There's some stuff in the chat that I want to address. One, someone asked if we think that refs should be able to throw out guys that are obvious ringers. No, I don't. It's not my job as a referee to judge talent. That's my job is to call penalties. My job is to enforce the rules. As far as with the league, because then it becomes a
Subjectiveness.
my subjectiveness of who belongs and who doesn't, and I'm not qualified to do that because I don't run the league. Like, it's just I show up and I ref all different levels, so it's just a little bit. It would be tough for that, and not only that, but refs and players have a different relationship than refs and the coordinator, right? Some
And
players I
and the
love,
coordinators,
some players I hate. Some players love me, some players hate me.
Yep.
So it becomes a difficult thing for me to say, hey, you don't belong. And then that player's like, well, he just doesn't like me because X, Y, and Z. So no, I don't believe that refs should have the ability to do that. Second person asked what I do if guys start taking runs at the ringer. And the answer is I'm still going to call penalties. If you take a run at a ringer like that, I'm not going to let the game escalate just because you're mad that you're losing. So that's an easy one for me. And then the last thing I'll say, when it comes to self-policing, I think the hardest part is getting teams. If we could get teams to go into a league and say, hey, I've brought all players that belong in this league. We're going to get the shit kicked out of us. And at the end of this session, then I'm going to go to the coordinator and say, hey, my roster is full of nothing but D-League players playing in D-League, and we got the shit kicked out of us all year because these teams have ringers. The problem is nobody does that. As you said, it's an arms race.
Yep.
So when one team goes and says, hey, that team has X, Y, and Z player that don't belong, generally it's going to go, yeah, but you have A, B, and C player that also don't belong,
100%.
right?
100%.
So until someone or a few teams will get together and say, hey, we're going to roster the correct players and we're going to play this season out and we're going to let the team that has all the ringers win. And then collectively we're going to go and say, hey, we've done the right thing. We need the league to do the right thing for these teams and make it fair. Until that happens, it's tough to do.
Are you saying we should approach leagues and make the BLPA B league and we just bring in those players only? Yeah. Maybe that's okay.
That's it.
I do want to bring up something. Listen, I sound like Trash Can Dan Buffalo, like, oh, this one time, and I have a story for everything. But when you mentioned like having refs make the calls, tried that in this league that I worked for. We called it the Fair Player Warning, FPW. And once a player got so many FPWs, he couldn't play in that division anymore. But what we found is it's subjective.
Yeah.
Some refs were like, well, we don't know. Like, we're either, because we usually put lower level refs with lower level games, just because, there's a shortage of referees in Calgary, and that's kind of how they did things. But then you also found like some refs didn't want to make the team mad because it was a team of their friends. And so it's very hard to allow a referee. And I'm saying this knowing that probably 80% of the penalties called are subjective penalties on a referee. But when you start saying, hey, refs, you're in charge of this fair player warning, because then what we also noticed is then teams would well, why didn't this guy get an FPW, but my guy got an FPW? And it's so hard. Like it's so hard to put someone without a uniform consistency. That's why we moved away. Like, I love the least amount of penalty minutes as a tiebreaker, but I had to move away from that in the bashes where teams actually wanted to win because it wasn't the same refs every game. So some refs are a little harder, some are a little softer, and it wasn't fair to teams. And I think that's when you start letting the refs police the games. I mean, look, Jason's a ref. He already thinks his shit don't stink. Give refs that power. You know what I'm saying? That you don't know what's going to happen. They'll take over the world with that kind of power, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. It's hard. So, So that's basically it on our beer league stuff.
Speaking of refs, Do we have a follow up on
Last week.
The ref we
last
talked about last week.
Oh, yeah, we do. Listen, I talked to this ref, and I know the ref on a personal level, and I just said, hey, here's the deal. I didn't mention any names, but this is what's being said, and he's like, oh yeah, guy just wouldn't pay up his fucking bet. And I asked him if he would come on, if he'd come on and talk. And he said, listen, I don't want to disrespect the league that I work for because I love the league that I work for. I don't want to disrespect the players. It's literally this player not paying up his bet and then his whole team defending him, not paying up the bet. He was wrong. I feel he was wrong. And that's just kind of where it is. I said, okay, but what, it seems like now you're kind of taking it out on them. And he's like, I am not calling any penalties that are not penalties. All right. They are seeing what it looks like when a ref takes everything and calls it exactly by the book, the way it's supposed to be called. Okay. And am I doing that because I'm pissed because this guy, he's like, it's not because I'm pissed. It's just, this is the way it is. Right. And so everything that they're doing is by the book. Like I'm an official. He does some high level stuff here in Calgary. He's like, I'm an official. I'm calling it. That's just kind of how they're going to have to deal with it. And he's like, but anyway, I'm not even reffing any of their games anymore. I'm staying away from them. It's too much drama. But he said, I definitely wasn't anything where I'm trying to disrespect the game, the league, the players, just, but he still says that guy owes him $50. So
pay your bets.
Pay your bets. Listen, we pay our bets. We
always pay our bets. Yeah. And
we got paid.
FanDuel pays their bets.
Yeah. We got paid on our bets.
They paid us. Yeah.
So I like beer league drama stories. If you have a beer league drama story, send in. I did not start this podcast out professionally. I did not talk about one of the biggest things that's going to go in the podcast this week. Ooh, I have another interview. There was a documentary called Closing the Gap. We travel a lot of places to play hockey. What's one place you would never travel, do you think?
Dubai.
To play hockey. Dubai? Mm-hmm. That's smart. For me, North Korea.
Okay, that's a good one.
There is hockey in North Korea, and that's what Closing the Gap is about.
Okay.
It's about playing hockey in North Korea. And, not necessarily beer leaguers going to play, but they do have a professional level North Korean hockey team, right? They were in this document. I haven't checked to see where they're at now, but they were in like the B tier of the IIHF with teams like Australia, Mexico, places like that. And this documentary takes them to a tournament that was, if they won the tournament, they moved up. If they lost the tournament, they could get relegated back down to C League. I understand propaganda. 100%. I understand it. I wish I'd use it more for BLPA, to be honest with you. And I understand politics and how political North Korea and China and communism and all that shit is. But I'm interested in this because of hockey. I love hockey. I love the sport of hockey. I love seeing it grow in different places. And it's cool to see that even in this closed off environment that they have a level of hockey where they basically take these people and raise them to be, hey, you're going to be on the North Korean hockey team. And it follows their thing. It's on Apple TV right now. It's $5 to buy or $4 to rent or something. Go watch it. I'm going to interview the guy that made it. They're going back to North Korea, and it's going to be the first time ever that they've allowed North Koreans to be combined with outsiders to play on the same team. All right. And they're going back and they're taking some people. Unfortunately, I can't go. I would never go anyway, but I can't go because you can't have a US passport and go. I think you have to have a Canadian passport or something to that effect. But I've also had some friends in something called the Friendship League. They go over there and they played against their teams, and it was a crazy experience. And maybe I'll contact Misty and see if I can get her to talk about some of those. I know we interviewed her a long time ago when it happened, but I'm going to interview this guy tomorrow. Hopefully, he's in Mexico. They basically take you off the beaten path in places that are already off the beaten path, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
He doesn't play hockey, but he's from Canada, so he loves the game. And so that's kind of where the hockey plays in. But I'm going to interview him about North Korea and all the hockey that goes in and see that. So you'll have to download the episode to get that. We didn't want to put it in live just because I want to make sure that we're doing it justice. I want to make sure that the things I ask aren't considered disrespectful, right? Because North Korea, that's a big thing. Like I remember even watching in this documentary, they hung the flags of all the countries and they hang them vertically, right? Well, they got pissed because theirs wasn't hung horizontally because their star didn't point to the north. That's what they, I get it. I get the flag stuff, right?
Yeah.
They went over, they played this tournament, this IIHF tournament in like Melbourne, Australia. It was either that or New Zealand, one of those two, right over there. Like one guy got hurt. They don't have health insurance over there. So like the tournament had to pay for this guy that had to go to the hospital to get an emergency appendectomy. And they're like, well, hopefully they'll pay us back. We're expecting to be paid back, so just a crazy story, but it's cool because I'm all about going to play hockey in these crazy places. And there are places that I wouldn't go. North Korea is probably one of them.
It's probably on the list.
Dubai, I would like to see Dubai. I mean, I think I don't like the track record and the human rights record over there. That doesn't, but to say that city isn't intriguing.
Oh, it's certainly intriguing.
The outward appearance of it would be untrue.
I'm just afraid I do something stupid and end up dead.
Well, that is the problem. I mean, I do a lot.
Not even stupid, but like not allowed.
Can you imagine if I went over there, but they were huge McDavid fans and they saw this thing I posted on Facebook and then arrested me for doing that?
Yeah,
that'd be crazy. But
yeah.
But we are going to Italy in a few days. I'm super stoked about that. So much pasta and wine coming up in my life. I'm so stoked. I wish you guys were going. Did you see? You didn't even get to see like the bag and the gloves. Oh, let me see if I can. Well, I can show you the gloves.
Sexy.
BLPA worldwide. Yeah. And then we got Eagle hockey bags with this logo on the side of it.
Sick.
Right? Fucking cool. So now I'm like, well, because it got to be different every time. Because
Yeah.
the only reason I got Eagle involved is so every time I go, I get a new pair of gloves. That's why I did. And the player, listen, the players, I love that you guys get new gloves too.
Sure.
Thank you. But so I gotta like, what are we gonna do for Scandinavia? Did you see the jerseys?
I haven't. No, you don't show me shit.
Okay, talk for 1 second. I'm just gonna go grab the jerseys. They're so
okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Nick's out here. He just lets me, money line, win the money. Puts me slave driver, puts me on the podcast, but doesn't ever show me shit. So anytime you guys see me at a tournament, and you're like, hey, what's the theme for this, or what do the jerseys look like for that? Just know, Nick doesn't tell me shit. I don't get any special treatment that you guys don't get because Nick doesn't care. That's just the way he is. I'm just a piece of meat to him, and it is what it is. So hopefully when he comes back, he's gonna tell me that I get one of these jerseys. Okay, bag's looking good.
All right, hold on. Let me put this on.
I dig the bag.
The bag is cool.
Yeah. So do I get one? You got an extra or what?
Well, you just got to go on BLPA Worldwide. I don't have extras.
Okay. Okay. I you know what? I think you did show me that. And then I just talked shit about how you don't show me anything, but I think you did show me that.
And then on the back, you got the
number 10, huh? Shocking.
Yeah, that's me. Okay. Yeah, I like this one way better. I think. I mean, I like the white one's cool, but I like this one way better.
Yeah. Yeah. I do dig that one.
So.
Yep.
So that's the.
Does everybody get both?
Yeah, everyone gets both. So they get the bag, the gloves, both jerseys. Then there's like some good like a BLPA stick bag. There was a little drawstring bag in there. We got because I'm into these pins now. So I made BLPA Worldwide Italy pins that we can trade to the teams we're playing. And then they got a hoodie with the BLPA Italy logo on it. So
okay, I dig it.
So yeah, as we get bigger and going, hopefully we can get some sponsors and get way more swag in there.
Yeah.
And well, I ran down those stairs and back. I'm still recovering from COVID here. My lungs. Whew.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Bad.
It was COVID.
It's pretty bad. Maybe it's because I'm out of shape. I don't know. But yeah, so cool. So now I got to think about what we can do for like Scandinavia. Like now I want every jersey when we go to have a theme.
When's Scandinavia?
It's March. And if you're going to get it, like I got to turn in everything. Like I've already been paying on it. Like I've paid thousands of dollars already to this company, but I got to finalize rosters. But why not Japan, bud?
Yeah, I think Japan's probably on the one on the
Japan
list.
in October. Let's do that, bud.
Okay.
And you can bring Jaden.
Yeah.
Come out a couple of days early. Like here's what I have to go a week early. Because I was supposed to take him for the draft experience in Japan, and it was such a money pit. because we
Yeah.
didn't get enough people to register. They backed out and all that stuff. It just didn't make sense to do it. But so we're gonna go a week early. We're gonna go do the Japan, Tokyo Disney, and the Universal in Osaka and stuff. Come out. You can go to like Disney.
Well,
and stuff.
Jaden can't go because he's in school in October.
But here's the deal. I said this to Tanis. Is this kid going to learn more in school for a week or going and exploring a different country across the world?
Well, it turns out the truancy board doesn't give a shit.
No, you just say, hey, I have this family thing we're going on, this family trip.
Yeah. Well,
And he's going.
It's possible.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Okay. Look, Peck says Peck ain't doing Japan, bud. Peck's not doing Japan. He says he's doing.
Peck does Japan. I'll do Japan.
All right, Peck, start making them payments, bro. Let's go. You know, I mean, Jesus. So traded the teams we're playing, like Team Italy is going to randomly show up with a pin. But no, listen, Jeff, they might not. Maybe they will have pins, but we're giving it to them as a gift. Like, here, this is to commemorate you playing with us. No one knows this, but one of the Team Italy, like they're bringing us their jerseys.
Okay.
Right? They're bringing us some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just really just a, hey, thank you. I don't know what to, this is my first time doing a tour like this. So I don't know what to give them. In Scandinavia, maybe we'll be a little bit more prepared to see what people do. Right. And then you just start building these relationships with these other teams. Maybe they'll come over here and do a little tour of the US and maybe do some drafts or something, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're just trying to give them a small little memento from the BLPA Peck. So get fucked, bud. All right. Anything else that we need to talk about before we get out of here?
Nope, my laptop's about to die.
Okay, Japan's. Okay, so Peck says he's coming. Peck, I bet you won't register today. Put down your deposit and your first payment and set up monthly payments. I bet you won't. I bet you won't, pussy. And if you do it, Jason will do it. So there we go. And listen, I think we only have room for 3 more skaters, maybe 4.
In Japan?
Yeah. And Jeff,
right.
if you sign up, you'll be taking Dan's spot because he hasn't paid. So,
there you go.
Show Dan, bud. Show Dan. All right. Other than that, I want to bring my son. He has taught himself to speak Japanese. Well, there's a non-player price as well into this thing. So you don't have to pay the player price for them. We got you covered, Maddie. We got you covered. So
that's right.
All right. Outside of that, nothing else to add. Jillian, I hope you had a baby. I hope you're not just ignoring us for shits and gigs. I hope it's because
if you are, fuck you. But hopefully you're not.
Fuck you, Jillian. With all due respect, of course.
Yeah, of course.
You're still our number one babe.
Yep.
We just got to find another babe. The cost on Japan, $3,800 a player. I think it's 10% down, and then you make a monthly payment of the rest. I don't even charge any interest on these monthly payments. That's how good of a guy I am. Just straight up make them payments, and it's to October, so it's 12 payments, right? So I think it's $280 a month or somewhere like that. But anyway, so that's that. Jillian, love you, number one bae. Jason, thanks. Let's money line again this week.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll be able to record something while I'm in Italy. 8-hour difference over there. Well, it'll be a 7-hour difference for you. But we'll figure it out. So,
all right.
Let me know. Hey, let me know if you want to see me do anything, any special Italian stuff for content. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it.